We were called back from Syria after a spell of about 2 to 3 months there, and we got as far as Merseyramm, and then we came to you all heard of it, Invercargill, where we just about got taken to prisoner of war. After that we went to Wattie, and then we got back as far as Alamein, and we stopped at Alamein. Field Marshal Montgomery had taken over then, and he said there'd be no further retreat, and it turned out that the Battle of Alamein was the first Allied victory of World War II. 3rd of October 1942, we were told that the second front, or the stop part of the attack on Alamein would eventuate that particular night, and we would know something obvious will be brought about to let us know that the attack is now on. So that night, it was 20 to 10 exactly, 2 searchlights came on, one from one end of the line, the other one from the other end of the line. And they stopped the searchlight for about 20 seconds, and then they faded out. And the guns were told then that's the warning. So that's when the guns opened up, and they just fired consistently for about, I suppose, an hour and a half without stopping. They just kept going and going. And each gun had, I understand, about 1,000 rounds, and three muzzles to go on. When it got hot, they took it out and put a new one on rather than waiting for it to get cold. And these guns just fired until they had 1,000 rounds, I think it was, and they had about 500 rounds in reserve in case the advance didn't come off, but it did come off. So I don't think they used up all their ammunition. You got no idea what the noise was like. It was just terrific. You'd never hear anything like it. It just went on and on and on. You couldn't sleep, and then it just went on and on and on. And about every hour or so they would stop and they'd lift the range up a wee bit and try and get behind the German line and see if they could stop him that way. But he was too cunning for that. He moved on. He got out of the way before we got there. 4 days before that, before we got moving. And when we did get moving, we got bogged down in the rain. The sand was saturated. The trucks wouldn't move, and we couldn't go forward, and the Germans couldn't go backwards. So we were stalemate for I suppose about a week before we got dry enough to move on. And after that, that's when we moved on. The Germans retreated and we advanced, and we kept doing that by stops and starts until we got to Tripoli. We had a fortnight, or I'm guessing about 3 weeks in Tripoli, and then we moved on from Tripoli to up to near Algiers, which was the turning point when the Germans capitulated then, and we had prisoners of war everywhere. We didn't know what to do with them. We took 250,000 prisoners of war in that 2 or 3 days, but it got to say we didn't know what to do with them, and they didn't want to go back. They thought they were just the cat's pajamas, and they weren't. But we had a German major with me. He was one of the elite corps of the Germans, and he'd been in Christchurch before the war. He said, "You've been in Christchurch?" And I said, "Yes, I've been in Christchurch." And he knew all about Christchurch, and he was the doctor, and he spoke better English than what I did. He shook hands with me as a cheerio. We might come across each other somewhere, but I wouldn't even know what his name is now. But he was a doctor in England, and he said, "Why are you in the service?" I said, "Well, I think the country's in service." And he says, "Exactly what I do too." He said, "That's why he said, "I'm not a Nazi, never will be." He says, he decided he had to do something for his country, and it was just left at that.